Hey, Oscar! Do you have a moment? There is something that I'd like to talk to you about.
Hey, Brandon. Yes, of course I have time to talk. It isn't every day that the president of the company that you work for sends you a text message. Is there something that I can help you with? If you'd like, I can go up to your office and we can discuss things in person.
No. There will be no need for anything like that at all. The reason I'm messaging you is to tell you that you're fired as of today.
Wait, I'm fired? May I at least know why you've made this decision? Did I do something wrong or break a company rule or something like that?
You're being fired because you're not making enough sales and your performance is just all around terrible. In fact, the whole company is doing poorly, so I'm having to make some very large cuts to make sure that we can stay afloat. You're one of our highest paid salesmen, so if I get rid of you, then I'm cutting down on personal and saving money. I get 2 birds with 1 stone, you see? So anyways, that's why you're being fired. Got it?
Brandon, I really hate to disagree, but I don't think that my numbers have been bad at all. If anything, I'm doing better than I was last year. And I really don't think that it's fair to target me for firing just because I happen to make a lot of money. I work hard to earn my salary, and I think my records show that.
Oh, please. I know all about the little ways you have to skim from the top and fatten up your own wallet. Like how you're always working overtime because you know that you can earn more than your regular pay that way.
I understand how that might look, but the only reason I've had to stay so late is because my supervisor enjoys saddling me with work he's supposed to do. He never gets things done on time, and always leaves things until the last minute before coming to me for help. I've talked to our department manager about trying to get this issue resolved, but nothing's been done about it at all. Basically, I'm being made to do more work than I should, and that's why I've had to stay so late.
I didn't ask for your opinion on this, did I? I told you that you're fired, and that's that. End of story. It's my company, and if I say you're fired, then you're fired.
Would you at least like me to stay long enough to train whoever it is that you hired to replace me?
You think that we don't already have people here who can do that? Just what makes you think you're so special, huh?
Well, it's just that we're in the middle of working on this big project, and I think there would be a lot of catching up to do for a new person. And since I've been acting as the leader on this project, whoever took over for me would probably have those same responsibilities. Some of this stuff is pretty touchy and needs a clear understanding of the project goals to get done well. I just thought you would want me to make sure that was in place before I left.
You really must have a high opinion of yourself if you think I'm going to keep you around just to train someone to do a job they should already know how to do.
Well, some of these documents related to the project need to be ready by the time that business trip comes up in a few days.
And by the time it comes around, I'll have already chosen someone to go on that trip in your place. It really is as simple as that.
So, you're saying that you'll take responsibility for choosing who it is that takes my place on this project then?
I think I have a whole company of little worker drones like you. You're disposable. You're like a dead battery. It's as simple as taking you out and putting in a new one. You're nothing to this company. Do you understand me? I tried to make this simple and direct by being upfront with you about your firing. But I will not stand by and idly text about this matter anymore. As the owner of this company, I've told you my decision. As an employee, your job is to listen to what I say and tell me yes.
I see. In that case, I'll go to HR and start filing out the proper paperwork.
I want you out of this office within the hour. I don't ever want to see you around here again.
Very well. I suppose I will make this all quick.
Oscar! Is everything okay? I've seen you running around the office grabbing boxes and emptying your desk into them for the past 30 minutes now. Did something happen?
Hey, Carlos. I don't have long to text, but yeah. Brandon told me that I'm fired, and that he wants me out of the office as soon as possible.
You're kidding me! Why would he do something like that? I mean, why would the company president herself step in to fire an employee as good as you?
Well, he told me that she wanted to fire me because the company isn't doing so well on the bottom line. I guess he thought that if he didn't have to pay my salary, that it would make a difference whether or not this place sinks or swims.
But that's just ridiculous! I understand the need to make cuts, but firing such a key person like you is just asking for trouble. Doesn't Brandon understand that there are some things in this office that only you have the experience to be able to do? I just don't understand. But I do know that this isn't right. If our corporate overlord is going to treat his staff like this, then I'm quitting too.
Wait, what? Carlos, no! Please don't do that for my sake! I really don't think that you should quit your job just because I'm being treated unfairly.
Are you sure about that? I want to stand with you. This isn't fair, Oscar!
I know it isn't fair, and I really do appreciate what you're doing. It's very kind of you to be willing to throw your job away for what's right, but I don't know how I'd feel if anything bad happened to you because of what you did for me.
Well, okay then. If you really don't think it's a good idea. But after work, I'm going to head straight to your place, and we're going to talk about this.
You mean it? I would really appreciate that.
Oscar, what are you talking about? You're my fiancé. Of course I'm going to be there for you when you need me. Besides, this sounds like a long story, and would probably be better to figure out in person.
You're right. Thank you so much, Carlos. I'm so lucky to have you. I suppose I'll see you this evening then.
Oh, Carlos, are you there? I was just wondering if you might be interested in going out to dinner with me tonight. It'll be my treat, you know. Hi, Brandon. I'm very sorry, but I already have plans made for this evening. I'm going to have to pass. Oh, come on. I know that isn't true. What plans could you possibly have? Besides, you do know that your little boyfriend got fired today, right? You're better off spending your time with me now. Brandon, Oscar is more than just my boyfriend. He's my fiancé. I already told you that I have plans tonight, so please respect that. Respect what? The fact that you're engaged to a deadbeat? Surely you realize that you'd be way better off with me, right? Besides, now that Oscar's out of the picture, you have no choice but to be all mine. I'm sorry, but I will just have to disagree with you there. I am certainly not yours. Come on, Carlos. Surely you must understand where you stand in all of this, right? You're just another one of my staff. I'm hiring you, and if I wanted to, I could fire you, just like Oscar. That is, unless you do exactly as I say. How dare you try to lord your power over and threaten me? You can say whatever you want, but I will make decisions for myself. Thank you very much. Oh, come on. Where is all of this attitude coming from all of a sudden? You really think that a good employee like you would know the right way to talk to their boss, now? Besides, it's obvious with how flustered you are that you must like me. It's okay, though. There's no need to be embarrassed. You know that I like you, too. So let's just stop this little game and get together, yeah? Brandon, I am sorry to say that you have no idea what you're talking about. There is not a molecule of my being that has any romantic, let alone positive, feelings towards you. But you'll be with a company president. Don't you understand what that could mean for your future? You'd never have to worry about anything again. Well, except looking good while standing next to me, that is. After all, you would be expected to keep up appearances when we go out to all the fancy dinners and galas. Doesn't that sound nice? I'm sure you've always dreamed about living the high life, right? Well, I'm your ticket to that life. And all you have to do is say that you like me. Well, I don't like you. In fact, I hate you, Brandon. I think you're a terrible person, and I don't want anything to do with you at all. But Carlos, that isn't fair. You haven't even given me a chance, you know. Don't you think you should at least give it a shot and see what you're missing out on? I'll make a reservation at the most expensive restaurant in the city and show you the kind of life that I can give you if you get with me. You won't regret it. I've given you my answer already. Now please, respect it. I have no intention of going out with you to dinner, on a date, or anything like that. But that isn't fair! What can I do that will finally convince you to marry me? Why won't you become mine? Brandon, I would like to make something very, very clear to you. To me, working for you is just one unfortunate condition that I put up with while at this job. But I want to make myself understood that I don't want you playing any role in my personal life, and I would just like to be left alone to do my work. You mean to tell me that you'd really rather be doing work than be out there looking for love? I'm offering everything you could ever want on a silver platter, and you're going to tell me no? I mean, I was thinking that after I take you out for dinner, that you would let me show you my place. After all, it would be good to have an idea of where you'd be living after you and I get married, right? Trust me, if you spend the night with me, you won't regret it one bit. Brandon, I have already given you my answer, and have asked you to respect it. I already said no, and that isn't going to change no matter what you say. You really are a stubborn one, do you know that? But it's okay. Half the fun is in the hunt anyways. Well then, you better go and find another target, because this buck is already bagged and tagged. I am engaged to Oscar, and that is where my loyalties are. Do you get it? Now, if we have nothing else to discuss, I would like to get back to work, please. I'm not going to give up on you, Carlos. I will make you mine. You will realize that you love me. I'll never stop chasing after you. Oscar! I'm finally off work. It's been such a day. I can't wait to talk about it all with you. Anyways, I'm going to take an Uber to your place, so I'll see you in a little bit.
You're going to take an Uber? But why? You know that I don't live that far from the office? You could probably make it if you didn't mind walking the 15 minutes.
I know, but I need to get in a car so that I can get away from Brandon.
What do you mean? What's he doing this time? Is everything alright?
Well, he kept trying to invite me out for dinner tonight. He just wouldn't stop pushing it. Although, it was obvious that he was looking for much more than just to eat with me.
You're kidding me. Did he really do that? When is he going to learn that he shouldn't be abusing his power like that? It's just horrible!
I had to sneak into the women's bathroom, and the girls are keeping an eye out for Brandon. Apparently, they noticed him coming down to see if I was still at my desk. I just barely managed to get by him without him noticing. I'm standing outside the building right now. Ah, I think I see my Uber! Okay, I'll see you in a bit.
Got it. I'll be waiting for you outside my apartment building then. I'll see you when you get here. And be careful. I'll be thinking about you until you arrive.
Hey, Oscar. I hope you slept well. I really missed you last night.
Morning, Carlos. I slept really well, thanks for asking. I did really miss you too, though.
I just wanted to say thanks for driving me all the way back to my place.
Of course. It really was no problem for me. And maybe it's a good thing that you still live with your parents. It makes it that much more difficult for someone like Brandon to harass you. By the way, were you still going to take the day off today?
Yeah, I already called the office and told them I wouldn't be coming in. Thankfully, the person who picked up the phone was one of the girls who helped me out yesterday, so she didn't ask any questions and just processed my absence.
Got it. Well, that's a relief to hear. I'm glad that you managed to do that without a hitch. By the way, Brandon is already over 40 years old, right?
He is, but apparently he still has no problem trying to hit on people so much younger than him.
I know what you mean. Obviously, I think that an age gap means less and less as time goes on, and people mature. But still, when you take that along with how much Brandon likes to abuse his power as the president, it really tells you a lot about how he sees relationships.
I know what you mean. I think people like him really need to go get some therapy and figure out why they want a relationship based on these weird power dynamics. But ever since he took over the company a couple years ago, things really have just been falling apart here. I really do wish that we still had our old president. He kept things running smoothly, and never acted in the way that Brandon does.
Yeah, those really were the days.
Well, anyways, what do you think you're going to do now that you're officially out of a job? Do you have a plan? Or are you just going to rest a while?
Well, for now, I guess I'll start the job hunt. It's not like I can exactly afford to be out of work for too long. Thankfully, though, I'm pretty sure that with my skills, I'll be able to find a company that wants to hire me pretty quickly. I hope that doesn't sound cocky, but I like to think that I know my worth. What I'm more worried about is what's going to happen to you at this job.
I know what you mean. I'm sure that Brandon is already planning his next slew of invitations to me. I think that I'm going to try and talk about this with my parents, and see if they can't offer me any sort of advice.
Got it. Let me know what they say, and if I can help in any way.
Oscar! What is the matter with you? Why aren't you at the airport already? You better be on your way right now, or there'll be hell to pay!
Sorry, Brandon. What is all of this about? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Did you seriously forget the important business trip that you had today? You're going to be meeting with one of our top clients! Don't you dare tell me that you forgot! I can't afford to just cancel something like this at the last minute! What kind of game are you trying to play here?
I don't see why you think this has anything to do with me. You do remember that you fired me 3 days ago, don't you?
What in the world are you talking about? I never fired you! You're still my employee, and you will do as I say!
No, that is just not true. You told me 3 days ago that I was being fired for budgetary reasons. I'm not your employee anymore.
I didn't ask for your back talk! Now you are going to do as I say, get on that plane, and then apologize to our client for your laziness!
Brandon, are you even reading what I'm sending to you? I don't work for you anymore, okay? You can't tell me what to do. I couldn't even represent the company if you wanted me to at this point.
What is this, some kind of joke you're trying to play on me? I know that you're in charge of the special project with our big client. I called them and told them that I was going to be taking over the project, and they refused to work with anyone but you!
Well, I did ask if you were going to take responsibility for finding my replacement on it, remember? I even offered to train whoever it was that you chose.
Well, the client is saying that they don't want anyone else but you! Don't you see that our contract with them is at stake if you don't do this?
Well, that sucks. But again, it's not my issue at all. It is quite literally none of my business, Brandon.
You little rat! You won't get away with this! I still own you, even if you don't realize it yet! Oscar, are you there? Things are going crazy here because of that business trip that you were supposed to go on.
Oh, really? Like what? What's going on?
Well, the whole reason I went into work today was because I heard that Brandon was going to be out of town on your business trip, right? But now we're hearing at the office that when he arrived, he tried to give the client all the documents that you had worked on. But when the client looked at them, Brandon had gone in and made so many changes by himself that the client just refused to accept them.
Wow. He really did it. I didn't think Brandon would be stupid enough to try and take on this project by himself. And yet...
I know! What was he thinking? He brought along a couple staff members who had been texting me some of the updates about what's going on over there. First of all, the people at the office Brandon was visiting were shocked because they still thought it was you that they would be dealing with. And second, after looking at the mess of reports that Brandon made, they refused to work with anyone but you. Now I guess Brandon is trying to blame you for all of this.
He is? And just how is he trying to do that? I hope no one is listening to what nonsense he's come up with.
Well, he's saying that you refused to go on the trip at the last minute, and that Brandon had no choice but to personally step in and handle things.
Oh, I see. I was wondering if it might have been something like that. Brandon was actually texting me this morning demanding that I get on the plane to make it to the meeting.
He really texted you this morning telling you to do that?
I know. I was just as confused as you, really. It's like he has no idea what he's done.
I just can't believe it! How much of an idiot can one guy be? Especially when the clients had made it clear since the very start of this project that they were only agreeing to it because they trust you to handle their claims.
And I do really appreciate them for saying that. But it's out of my hands to do anything about it now.
I know, but what if Brandon convinces them that it was really all your fault?
I really don't think that's going to happen. I actually applied for a job with them today, and I'm going in for an interview soon.
What? Really? You mean you found a job with the clients that you were working with before?
That's right. The interview is at one of their subsidiaries. And I already told my brother, who works for the same company, about how I got fired. So I'm sure that he's passed along that information to someone there. In fact, the application process was really just a formality. Just yesterday, I got a phone call from the company asking if I'd like a job. The interview is really all just to make sure the process is done correctly. In fact, I just got off the phone with the person who called me with the job offer asking me to clear up what was going on. They weren't sure about what Brandon was telling them, so I explained how I'd been fired and how Brandon took over the project. Assuming they take my word over his, I don't think there's a chance that any of this is going to fall back on me.
So you really think that you'll be okay from all of this? If that's the case, then I'm really happy for you, Oscar.
I think we're going to be okay. Thank you so much for always believing in me, though. I couldn't have done it without your support.
Aw, sweetie, that really does mean so much to me. Well, I suppose that's it then.
That's it? What do you mean?
I've made up my mind, and I'm going to be quitting this job.
Are you sure about that?
That's right, but don't worry. The decision isn't being made with you in mind. I just seriously can't see the point in staying at a company with such poor leadership. I mean, it is literally driving away its best employees and trying to avoid blame for everything. I just can't see myself excelling in a career here, so I'm going to quit.
Well, that makes perfect sense to me. Although, I know that you'll be able to find new work right away. And in the meantime, maybe we can get to spend some more time together. I think we both deserve a vacation after all that we've been through.
It's all your fault! My company is in shambles, and it's all thanks to you!
Sorry, thanks to me? Are you sure about that, Brandon?
Who else's fault could it be? You sabotaged that project and knew that I wouldn't be able to take it over! You set me up for a trap! I knew it!
I'm sorry, Brandon, but you were the one who fired me. I gave you plenty of warning about the knowledge necessary to handle things, and you didn't listen. I did my due diligence as an employee, and you still fired me.
Shut up! You don't know what you're talking about! You've just always had it out for me, and that's why you did this!
Okay then, just tell me what you think I did.
Well, I know that you're working for the very people you were collaborating on the project with. You wanted to take me down so that your new company could buy mine and I would be ruined!
If you really believe that to be true, I'm going to have to see more evidence before I even begin to respond. But if all you have to say to me are unfounded accusations, then I'm not going to waste my time talking to you.
You can't just leave me! I'm drowning in debt thanks to you! My whole life is falling apart around me! The least you can do is put in a good word for me with your company!
You mean the company that you showed up to unprepared to deal with? I think they already have a good idea of who you are.
Well, then at least lend me some money! Oh, Carlos, I'll take him!
Oh, you mean my husband?
Husband?
That's right. We got married last year. So if that's all you wanted to say, I'll be taking my leave now. When I started my job, my first assignment was to rebuild the deal and restore the documents that had been ruined by Brandon's intervention into my project. Thankfully, as former head of the project, that didn't take much time. In addition to Brandon's own foolish actions, many of the other employees began to quit after hearing why I'd been fired in the first place. Before long, Brandon was stretched so thin, his company's reputation had been so tarnished, that he had no choice but to declare bankruptcy. After that, I have no idea what he's been doing, and quite frankly, I don't really care. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.